Let's be real here. Say it, dig it, and analyze it. That's Deep Story. Thanks for tuning into Deep Story. I'm MPT. You ever dream of being a successful entrepreneur? Like waking up and thinking, yeah, I could totally be the next Steve Jobs, but maybe without the turtleneck? If that's you, or even if it's not, let me tell you about this book, The Power of Broke. It's by Damon John, yeah, the FUBU guy, and this thing is basically a crash course on how to turn I'm broke into I'm winning. Now, when Damon says broke, he's not just talking about the whole, can't afford guac at Chipotle kind of broke. Nope. He's talking about the kind of broke where you're missing resources, no money, no connections, no clue what you're doing, and maybe even no confidence. Sounds like fun, right? But Damon flips it. He says, hey, that's your superpower. I mean, who knew being a hot mess was just the prequel to success? This book, it's like your favorite teacher, the one who was tough, but you actually learned stuff. Damon shows you how to squeeze every ounce of potential out of what you do have. No cash, use time, no experience, use creativity. No plan, okay, maybe get a plan. But seriously, he's all about making the most of every scrap you've got. It's like turning leftovers into a gourmet meal. Except the meal is your life. And the stories? Oh man, the stories. Every chapter's got this moral, and the moral is usually when you've got nothing to lose, you've got everything to gain. I mean, think about it. If you hit rock bottom, congratulations. You just found the best foundation to build on. Damon's like, listen, you might be broke, but that's your advantage. And I'm over here thinking, advantage. Dude, my wallet's so empty it echoes. He also talks about how failing 1,000,000 times doesn't mean you're a loser. It just means attempt number 1,000,001 is gonna be epic. Imagine that you could bomb 20 times and the 21st try, boom, success. That's the kind of hope this book throws at you. It's not just about failing forward. It's about failing so hard that you springboard to the top. And let's get real. Everyone thinks being an entrepreneur is all about the Benjamins. But Damon's like, nah, money is a temporary fuel. Your real engine, passion, determination, that stubborn little voice in your head that says, don't quit, dummy. You know the one. Oh, and FUBU, for us, by use. Damon built that empire from nothing but an idea and sheer willpower. He didn't have cash, he had hustle. And now, iconic. He's proof that if you're creative enough, determined enough, and maybe just a little desperate, you can make magic happen. The kicker, Damon's got this big message. When you've got everything handed to you, you stop growing. But when you've got nothing, you're forced to innovate. You push harder, think bigger, and prove to yourself and everyone else that you're unstoppable. That's the power of broke. So, next time life hands you lemons, forget lemonade, build a lemonade empire. So, in The Power of Broke, Damon introduces us to these incredible people from all kinds of backgrounds who just crushed it in their fields. His mantra, simple but deep, even if you've got nothing, dream big. And he's not just talking about making money, he's talking about changing lives, maybe even saving them by learning from every experience. One story is about this 20-year-old artist named Blake. Damon first met Blake outside a hotel in Vegas. They were both waiting for their cars because Apparently, in Vegas, even life lessons happen curbside. Blake recognizes Damon, walks up to him and says, "Hey, can you give me some advice?" And Damon, being his usual humble self, says, "Man, I'm no expert." You know that, right? "I'm not an expert." Which, of course, sounds exactly like what an expert would say. Damon asks what Blake does for work, and Blake explains he's this well-known artist with 100,000 Instagram followers. Every week, he posts a new original painting and offers his fans a chance to buy T-shirts printed with his art. But here's the kicker, these T-shirts are limited edition, sold for just 24 hours, priced at $40, $50, even $75. After the orders come in, Blake produces and ships the shirts. No extra inventory, no returns, no wasted effort. This dude's business model? Genius. He avoids all the classic headaches of running a business, no high fixed costs, no leftover inventory, no shipping drama, and he's pulling in, wait for it, $3 million. Yeah, with an Instagram account and a stack of blank T-shirts. It's proof that creativity and resourcefulness can take you way further than a fat bank account. Then there's the story of Charlie. Charlie's family hit rock bottom during the 2008 financial crash. His dad, a carpenter, and his mom, who worked in office maintenance, lost their stable incomes. They even had to sell their house and move in with Charlie's grandparents. Tough, right? But Charlie didn't just sit there feeling sorry for himself. Nope, he got his dad to start building houses. The first one was super basic, but the neighbors loved it, and pretty soon they were taking orders. Meanwhile, Charlie's mom learned some digital marketing skills and started promoting the doghouses online. Next thing you know, the orders are rolling in. The family's making money, and they even launch a new business offering dog show services. Investors start paying attention. It's like a DIY comeback story for the ages. Then there's Chris, the guy who made a whole app out of scholarship research. See, Chris spent a year digging through every scholarship he could find and built this huge database. He realized other students could use this info, so he created an app called Shelly. Fast forward to 2016, and Forbes names him one of their 30 under 30. People even started calling him the $1 million scholar. And get this, his app had helped students win $3 million in scholarships by then. But don't think it was easy for him. Growing up, Chris didn't even have internet at home. He'd camp out at the local library, hustling through applications before his computer time ran out. Eventually, all that hard work paid off when he scored his first $20,000 in scholarships. The guy turned his grind into gold. Damon's book is packed with stories like these. The big takeaway: when you're down broke and out of options, that's when you've got the most to gain. It's not about what you don't have, it's about what you're willing to do with what you've got. And trust me, that lesson's worth more than any paycheck. Chris, oh man, his story just keeps getting better. By the time he graduated, this guy had scored 100 scholarships, including 2 full rides. And get this, in 2015, Chris walked onto the set of Shark Tank and walked off with $40,000 in funding to take Shelly to the next level. After that, the app got some serious recognition. The city of Memphis even signed a deal to share Shelly with all their high school graduates. By the end of 2015, students using Shelly had collectively applied for over $500,000 in scholarships. That's not just an app anymore, that's a movement. These stories, they drive home one big idea. Success doesn't come from the resources you have, it comes from the resourcefulness you build. Whether it's Blake turning art into a scalable business, Charlie's family rebuilding their finances, or Chris making scholarships accessible to thousands, the common thread is perseverance, creativity, and grit. Damon drives this point home. When you work with purpose, there's no challenge you can't overcome. Even starting from scratch, you've got the power to create something extraordinary. But here's a twist, money changes everything, and not always in a good way. Damon points out one of the biggest reasons businesses fail is overfunding. Yeah, too much cash can be a problem. When you're starting out, raising too much money too early can sink you. Think about it. If your startup's doing $50,000 in sales and you want to grow to $200,000, it might be tempting to give up 30% equity to an investor. But flooding your business with cash before it's ready to handle it, that's a recipe for disaster. Every business has its own rhythm, and you've got to respect that. Take Carlos, for example. Now here's a guy who shows you don't need a flashy lifestyle to find success or happiness. Carlos was an elderly courier living modestly and finding joy in life's little pleasures. Every time he got an extra $2 for making a delivery outside his usual route, he'd treat himself to 3 hot dogs and a drink at Gray's Papaya. Sitting there with his meal, he'd smile and say, "Today, I'm eating like a king." Meanwhile, some hedge fund manager with a mansion, a Ferrari, and a closet full of designer suits is out there stressing about the stock market. But here's the kicker. Carlos wasn't just a courier, he was also a sharp investor. He saved diligently, put his money into index funds and real estate trusts, and after 10 years, he retired with enough to buy a beautiful house in Puerto Rico. Now, he's sitting on his porch, enjoying the peace, and yes, probably still loving those hot dogs. And then there's Mark Zuckerberg. We all know how that story ends, but let's rewind to the beginning. Mark didn't build Facebook to take over the world, not at first, anyway. It started as a small campus project at Harvard. Then, slowly but surely, it expanded to other colleges, then to Boston companies, and eventually across the nation. Mark made sure the platform was rock solid before scaling up. No rushing, no shortcuts. By 2012, when Facebook went public, it was one of the biggest IPOs in tech history. His strategy, nail the basics first, then grow deliberately. That's how you build something that lasts. And finally, let me tell you about Gigi Butler. At 17, she moved to Nashville with big dreams of becoming a singer-songwriter. To make ends meet, she worked as a waitress and eventually started her own cleaning business. By the time she was 30, she'd put her music dreams aside and was running a cleaning company with a team of 5 women. But then one day, her brother called her up. He was complaining about this disappointing red velvet cupcake he'd bought. And then he goes, "It's nowhere near as good as the ones you make." That one comment planted a seed. He encouraged her to open a cupcake shop in Nashville, and well, the rest is history. These are the kinds of stories that make you think, what can I do with what I've got? Because whether it's a brush, a cupcake recipe, or just a couple of extra bucks, it's not what you start with, it's how you use it. Gigi didn't just dream about her cupcake empire, she built it. Despite struggling to get a loan, she saved up and opened her first cupcake shop. Fast forward to today, Gigi's Cupcakes operates in 24 states with 100 locations, pulling in a cool $35 million a year. Her story is proof that passion, persistence, and hard work can take you from scrubbing floors to running a dessert empire. These stories make one thing clear: money's important, sure, but handling it wisely is even more critical. Overfunding or trying to scale too fast can sink a business faster than you can say bad investment. Patience, strategic planning, and maximizing what you have. That's the recipe for lasting success. Whether it's Carlos building financial security through smart investing, Zuckerberg scaling Facebook step by step, or Gigi flipping a cupcake recipe into a household name, it's all about the right approach to money. But you know what's better than money? Fulfillment. Real satisfaction comes from doing what you love and having a motivated, supportive team that believes in you. That's the magic fuel that pushes you forward, even when the odds feel stacked against you. And here's the thing, a great mentor can be a total game changer. Mentorship isn't just a feel-good idea, it's a success multiplier. Businesses led by mentored entrepreneurs see an average revenue growth of 106%. Compare that to the 14% growth for those flying solo, and the impact of having a mentor becomes crystal clear. Take Mosiah Bridges, for example. He was just 11 years old when he started his boaty business, Mo's Bows. With help from his mom and grandmother, Mosiah turned his love for formal wear, yes, this kid was rocking boaties to school, into a brand. Sure, he got teased at first, but he stuck to his style. Over time, people started noticing, and soon friends, neighbors, and family were asking for boaties. Mosiah saw an opportunity and ran with it. Under his grandmother's guidance, he learned to sew and started making boaties by hand. They sold for $20 each. What made Mo's Bows stand out was Mosiah's eye for design, bright patterns, bold colors, and a unique flair. At first, they focused on boaties for kids, but soon expanded to adult sizes and even neckties. Mosiah's hard work and creativity earned him a spot on Shark Tank, which gave his business a massive boost. The exposure brought in a flood of orders, and Mosiah hired 2 local seamstresses to help meet demand. Throughout his journey, Mosiah became the face of his brand, but the heart of it, that was his mom and grandma who guided him every step of the way. Mosiah's story is a masterclass in passion, resilience, and the power of mentorship. Doing what you love makes you stand out, but having someone to guide you, that's how you conquer challenges and seize opportunities. Whether it's an 11-year-old boy sewing boaties or a seasoned entrepreneur scaling up a business, mentorship and dedication are the secret ingredients to success. Damon's point is simple: broke isn't just about money, it's about the challenges that shape you, the hustle that defines you, and the growth that happens when you grind it out. Success doesn't happen overnight, and those who make it know that big dreams have to be grounded in reality. The power of broke isn't just for companies, it's for anyone daring to turn nothing into something. You know what's wild? Every major business or brand we admire today started small, like really small. Businesses don't just wake up one day and become iconic. They go through 4 stages: project, label, brand, and finally, lifestyle. Let me break it down for you. A project, that's the basic level. It's just a product, no name, no logo, no personality. It solves a problem, sure, but it's like the plain bagel of the business world. Then comes the label. Slap a name on it, and suddenly it's got value. People can recognize it. They know what they're getting. It's the point where your plain bagel turns into Dave's Delicious Bagels. Next up, the brand. This is where the magic happens. Now it's not just a name, it's got a vibe, a style, a personality. People see it, trust it, and maybe even love it. Your bagel. Now it's Dave's Bagels with that signature jalapeno cream cheese everyone can't stop talking about. And finally, the big one, lifestyle. At this stage, your brand isn't just a product anymore. It's an identity. Customers don't just buy it, they live it. They're not just eating bagels, they're living the Dave's Bagels lifestyle. You get the picture. Let's talk about Ryan Deese. His story is a perfect example of this whole evolution. Ryan's journey started back in college at the University of Texas. He wanted to make money designing websites. There was just one small issue. He didn't know how to design websites. But instead of giving up, Ryan taught himself. Then he started applying for gigs around Austin, eventually landing a job at a marketing company. That company didn't last, but the experience Ryan gained, priceless. Fast forward a few years, and Ryan decides to design his own website. That project led to even bigger opportunities. Around the same time, he met Emily, the woman he wanted to marry. But here's the catch. Ryan had a goal to buy her a $10,000 engagement ring, and to do that, he needed to level up his business. Ryan launched a real estate website called Site Sightings. He pitched a developer on selling their product on his site in exchange for $500, paid by credit card. Bold move, right? That innovative idea paid off. To keep things rolling, Ryan created a new product called Op in Automator and priced it at $14. He used that income to cover his credit card bill and save enough cash for Emily's ring. But just when you think this guy's got it all figured out, life throws another curveball. One Sunday in April, Ryan's accountant dropped a bomb: unpaid taxes. Ouch! Instead of panicking, Ryan organized a massive promotional campaign with 6 major companies. In just 2 days, he earned enough to pay off all the taxes. Talk about thinking on your feet. Ryan's journey perfectly illustrates the 4 stages of business growth. 1. Project. Ryan started with personal websites, simple projects without much identity. 2. Label. He gave his products names and built recognizable product lines. 3. Brand. Through innovative marketing and consistent quality, his products gained trust and became a brand. 4. Lifestyle. Finally, Ryan's solutions became essential tools, integrated into his customers' lives. This transformation shows that businesses, like people, grow in stages. Whether you're selling bagels, bounties, or real estate solutions, the key is patience, persistence, and knowing when to move to the next level. Because every great brand was once just a project with potential. A Ryan story is a testament to the power of starting small and growing strategically. Here's a guy who started with zero knowledge of web design and, through passion, grit, and determination, became a professional entrepreneur. He worked through every phase of business development, project, label, brand, and lifestyle, building a legacy that highlights the true power of being resourceful. His journey teaches us that persistence, even from the humblest beginnings, can lead to extraordinary success. The lesson: success isn't just about working hard, it's about working smart. Time, as Ryan showed, is the most valuable resource money can't buy. And the power of broke teaches us that with the right strategies, you can maximize every second to turn effort into results. Life moves fast, and the winners are the ones who know how to make time work for them. Take crowdfunding, for example. Platforms like Indiegogo allow entrepreneurs to test prototypes and gather market feedback before launching full-scale production. A great example, FlowHive, a honey harvesting innovation created by an Australian father and son duo. In March 2015, they launched a crowdfunding campaign with a modest goal of $70,000. By the end of the campaign, they had raised nearly $12 million from 36,000 customers. That's not luck. It's the result of relentless effort. The FlowHive team didn't just dream of success. They earned it through hard work. They constantly tested their product, listened to feedback from farmers and beekeepers, and refined their design. Their story proves that initiative, effort, and efficient resource use can lead to extraordinary results. And then there's Mark Burnett, the mastermind behind iconic shows like Survivor, The Voice, The Apprentice, and Shark Tank. Named one of Time magazine's most influential people, Mark's journey to success started in humble beginnings. Growing up in a small factory town, Mark dreamed bigger than following in his father's footsteps. When he moved to Los Angeles, he worked as a live-in security guard and nanny for a wealthy family. His employer was an insurance executive, inspiring Mark to consider a career in insurance. But on weekends, Mark hustled, selling t-shirts on the beach. That side gig quickly outpaced his day job in profitability. Eventually, he quit his job to focus entirely on his t-shirt business. Mark was relentless about self-improvement. He spent his downtime reading books and attending seminars, even saving up to attend a Tony Robbins event. His love of adventure eventually led him to participate in a wild adventure race in Costa Rica. Inspired, Mark decided to bring a similar event to North America. In 1995, he launched the Eco Challenge, a grueling 300-mile race featuring mountain biking, kayaking, horseback riding, and hiking. The event gained popularity, and the Discovery Channel bought the broadcast rights. But Mark wasn't satisfied with just good enough. He wanted to film the Eco Challenge using helicopters to capture the action. When Discovery refused due to cost, Mark didn't back down. He put the expense on his personal credit card and filmed it himself. That gamble paid off in spades. His persistence and creativity transformed the Eco Challenge into Survivor, one of the most successful reality TV series in history. The first season of Survivor was shot on the Malaysian island of Borneo, with support from the Malaysian Tourism Board. Mark's bold vision and resourcefulness not only secured the location, but also created a show that redefined the television industry. These stories, from Ryan's strategic growth to FlowHive's crowdfunding triumph and Mark Burnett's bold moves, prove a universal truth. Success comes from action, persistence, and leveraging the resources at hand. Whether it's a small project or a massive production, starting from scratch isn't a limitation, it's an opportunity. Mark Burnett's story is proof that success is born from passion, resilience, and a willingness to take risks. Whether you're crowdfunding like FlowHive or building a global brand like Survivor, the recipe for success is the same: initiative, efficient use of time, and unwavering commitment to your goals. Mark himself credits his achievements to two key things: overcoming the fear of rejection and dedicating his energy to creating something extraordinary. By becoming the change you want to see, you can turn your passion into a legacy. Now that we've come to this conclusion, let's take a moment to reflect on everything we've explored about turning limitations into advantages, the pitfalls to avoid, the strategies to adopt, and the mindset required to build a successful future. The power of broke teaches us that a lack of resources is far from a disadvantage. In fact, it can be a powerful catalyst for creativity, resilience, and determination. Success doesn't depend on how much you start with. It's about using what you have intelligently and passionately to push forward. Failure, set challenges, and those are non-negotiable. They're part of the journey, but they're also invaluable teachers. Every failure gives you a chance to reevaluate, refine, and strengthen your approach, bringing you closer to your goals. So now, as you reflect on these lessons, ask yourself, how will you harness the power of broke in your own life? How will you turn your challenges into stepping stones for success? Remember, success isn't handed to you, it's earned through grit, originality, and an unshakable belief in your vision. Let the lessons of this book inspire you to take that next step, no matter how small it seems, toward a brighter, more empowered future.